Welcome to JoSociology. This is Jobil T. In today's lecture, we'll be dealing with the emergence of sociology, particularly in Europe. Well, sociology has been emerged as a separate discipline in 19th century in Europe. This doesn't mean that before 19th century, sociology never existed. Prior to 19th century, sociology, the systematic study of society, was primarily understood through religion, philosophy, and political theory. So these frameworks were not sufficient in explaining the profound or the tremendous changes or the transformation that has brought about by the modern society due to scientific revolution, enlightenment, industrial revolution, and the French Revolution, what we call as the factors that led to the emergence of sociology. Consequently, there was a need of a systematic and a scientific study of society that has led to the emergence of sociology. Well, the first factor that led to the emergence of sociology is the scientific revolution that had taken place in 16th and 17th century. So with scientific revolution, the authority of the church in explaining nature was challenged. Before scientific revolution, the church has regulated and governed all the domains or all the spheres of life. So with scientific revolution, there was a shift from theological explanation to empiricism and rationalism. So what is this empiricism and rationalism? So empiricism and rationalism are two schools of thought in philosophy of knowledge, or what we call epistemology. Empiricism holds that valid means of knowledge comes through perception, and rationalism claims that valid means of knowledge comes through reasoning. With scientific revolution, the notion of geocentrism was replaced by heliocentrism. So the notion of geocentrism was held by Church and Ptolemy, stating that Earth is the center of universe, and heliocentrism is the notion that was held by or claimed by Copernicus, Kepler, and Galileo, treating Sun as the center of universe. Through his influential book De Revolutionibus Orbium Celestum, Copernicus proposed this heliocentrism, and Johannes Kepler, through proposing laws of planetary motion, stating that planets move in elliptical orbits, and with Galileo Galilei's telescope-based observation has provided evidence for heliocentrism. In addition to them, Francis Bacon's Novum Organum that has proposed inductive method, and René Descartes' famous idea of cogito ergo sum, that is, I think therefore I am, and Isaac Newton's laws of motion and gravitation and so on provided impetus for the scientific revolution. Eventually, what scientific revolution has to do with sociology? So scientific revolution has provided methodological foundations for sociology by showing that, like natural phenomena, social phenomena could also be systematically studied. So that is what the father of sociology, Auguste Comte, calls positivism. Well, the second factor that led to the emergence of sociology is the enlightenment that has taken place in 17th and 18th century. It is merely the application of empiricism and rationalism to understand society, and it's the age of reasoning. Enlightenment has challenged the traditional authority, questioning monarchical absolutism and church dogma. Thinkers like Voltaire strongly criticized religious intolerance and clerical authority in his influential book Candide. Then it has promoted critical thinking, encouraged independent reasoning and intellectual autonomy. Thinkers like Immanuel Kant emphasize apere aude, that means dare to know, the courage to use one's own reason in his famous book What is Enlightenment. Then it has advocated natural rights, asserting individuals possess inherent rights like right to life, right to liberty, and right to property. Then it has promoted the ideals of freedom, equality, and social contract, stressing popular sovereignty and collective will. Rousseau proposed the social contract and the concept of general will in his book, The Social Contract. Then Enlightenment has also promoted the idea of human progress, belief that society can be improved through reason, science, and education. Thinkers like Montesquieu has advocated the separation of powers between judiciary, legislative, and executive in his renowned book, The Spirit of Laws, and Condorcet emphasized human progress through education and rational thought. And eventually, Enlightenment has also advocated secularism, and it has promoted the separation of religion from politics and public life, favoring rational and secular governance. Thinkers like Voltaire advocated religious tolerance, freedom of thought, and separation of church and state in his book Treatise on Tolerance. So, what this Enlightenment has contributed to the emergence of sociology? Enlightenment has created the intellectual foundation for sociology. Well, the third factor that led to the emergence of sociology is the Industrial Revolution that took place in 18th century, particularly in England, and later spread to Europe and other parts of the world. It has marked a shift from agrarian economy to industrial economy, hand tools to machines, domestic or subsistence production to factory or mass or capitalist production. So, what are the impact of industrial revolution? Formerly, it has break down the feudalism, then it has led to the growth of capitalism where the ownership of means of production, capital investment, and profit maximization, then the rise of new social classes like bourgeoisie and proletariat, what Karl Marx calls us, then urbanization, large-scale migration from villages to cities, growth of industrial towns, emergence of slums and overcrowded living conditions, and social problems like poverty, crime, child labor, poor working conditions, exploitation of women and workers, and so on. So, what industrial revolution has contributed to sociology? Industrial revolution has provided a material context for sociology. The ultimate factor that led to the emergence of sociology is the French Revolution, a decade-long political and social upheaval that destroyed France's absolute monarchy and feudalism. And this French Revolution has laid down the democratic ideals like liberty, equality, and fraternity. So, what are the causes of French Revolution? Rigid estate system or social inequality, clergy at the top, nobility as the middle, and commoners as the last, and the economic crisis like royal extravagance, costly wars, poor harvest, bread shortage, and poverty, and the resentment and anger towards the monarchy. Then Enlightenment ideals like Rousseau's social contract, Voltaire's anti-clericalism, Montesquieu's separation of powers, question divine right, monarchy, and demand equality. So, what were the impact of French Revolution? Uh, the end of monarchy and establishment of people's sovereignty, introduction of constitutional government, democracy, and citizenship, promotion of private property, then growth of secularism. So, what French Revolution has given to the emergence of sociology? French Revolution has provided the political context for sociology, saying that social order can be maintained even after a chaotic situation. Um, Coming to the conclusion, sociology has emerged as a response to the profound transformation brought about by scientific revolution, the Enlightenment, Industrial Revolution, and French Revolution, as we have discussed earlier. So, scientific revolution has given the methodological context, Enlightenment, the intellectual context, Industrial Revolution, material context, and French Revolution, political context. So, together, these forces laid the foundations for sociology. Well, these are the references. In case of any doubt, feel free to contact me. I'll be happy to share my PDF with you. So, this is today's lecture. Thanks for listening. We'll see you in the next lecture. Thank you.